I wasn't necessarily following somebody else's rule book for how I should live my life and what success looks like.
Welcome to Hello Kind Soul Podcast, where we raise the vibration of kindness on a global scale. Subscribe to the channel and follow us on all major platforms for your daily reminder to lead with love. Today, we have in community with us Amoy Virgo, who I will introduce her as just an amazing human. All the things, a business person, an entrepreneur, a storyteller, a healer, all the things. And then I'm going to have her tell you who she is. But I just want to say I'm so grateful for you to be in community with us this morning.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay. So feel free to tell us a little bit about yourself. You can share any links if you want folks to follow you, all the things, and then we'll jump in.
So my name is Amoy Virgo, like Eb said, and Ebony and I actually met when I started doing her hair. I opened the Lock Artistry by Avie, which is a lock salon, about 4 years ago now, and originally opened in my home when COVID was pretty much just taking over the world. And I was working in corporate healthcare as an RN and not commuting into the city anymore. So I utilized the extra time that I had to basically open a new business. I felt like that was just going to be like a little side thing. It was going to be a hobby, and it turned into this whole thing. Kind of took over, right? And so I pivoted from full-time nursing, part-time salon to the other way around. And ultimately stopped working as a nurse in a healthcare setting, if you will. Ended up opening a wellness community, Sankofa Wellness Community, in January. Moved into a new location that allows us to really just spread out and create space for all of these things to happen, for people to come together in community with each other, and for us to really take advantage of things that really grounds us, right? And helps us just to connect spiritually. And being in safe spaces with each other, especially given what's happening pretty much globally nowadays, but definitely much more palpable in America. And just yesterday, we officially opened the doors of Wellness RN, and that is my IV hydration and vitamin service. We offer both in-suite and mobile options for our clients, and basically tapping back into my nursing. My brother and I are the co-owners for that business, and we're just super excited to come full circle, but also just offer like a whole wellness, total body experience. So whether you're coming to the Lock Artistry for your hair or Sankofa to, take advantage of our workshops, seminars, dance classes, or coming to the Wellness RN and getting some IV hydration or vitamins, we got you.
Man, I had a question that kept coming up as you were sharing. And y'all, she's the truth. Like, everybody who comes to this podcast, I need y'all to know that we invite them because this conversation is going to be life-changing for somebody in the audience, if not me, because usually I have to pause too. What would you say to your 10-year-old self, given all that you've done and who you are in your most impactful way? You look back at what age and what do you tell her?
That's a really good question. I've always been scared of my own shadow, if you can believe it. And at a certain point, when I recognized that would hold me back in a lot of spaces, I decided, well, you're going to have to fake it till you make it,
Amen.
But being on the other side of that, it's not as scary as it looks, right? It's not as daunting. And that's because we're not meant to do everything in our own strength. You're meant to lean into something greater than yourself. And so understanding that is what I would tell my 10-year-old self. You don't have to carry this load by yourself. There are others who come alongside you, and you just have to recognize them, number one, but also be vulnerable, be open, and trust.
Man, trust is an interesting word because I struggle with it, or I did. I still do now, but I think now I'm more discerning about what I want to do? When did you learn to trust your decisions, your movements, what you believe to be true?
Honestly, probably within the last 5 or 6 years. Yeah. Because before that, I operated semi like robotic, right? I was following a blueprint. I was following a script. I was doing the things that I was told I was supposed to do. You know, you go to school, you get an education, you get a career, you really create this sense of security that we then cling to, right? And at a certain point, I realized, yeah, none of that really makes sense, and it doesn't really feel all that secure. And more than anything, I was living somebody else's life. And so it just really felt disingenuous, and it felt like it was not fulfilling a lot of the times. And so I had to start examining, okay, what is missing here? And it was me understanding who I am and really seeing myself and trusting that I know what's best for me and I know how to move forward.
What do you think? We living in a world, I was just chatting with someone, I was like, man, like there is no greater time to step into your purpose.
Yes.
Like this is your moment, right? But what do you think holds people back? Like there's a lot of things people want to do, and then there's all this talk that tells them not to. Like, what do you think it is that really holds them back from walking in their purpose, or at least being curious to find it?
Well, I think understanding that there's something beyond what we see in this 3D reality, you know, because listen, as you're getting up, going to work, going to school, coming home, making dinner, seeing your family for 2 seconds, and then doing it all over again.
That part.
You inherently, I think, feel like, okay, there has to be more to life than this, right? But a lot of us don't really even know where to look, how to start that conversation, that discovery. I think for me, understanding self, developing a deeper relationship and intimacy with myself, that was groundbreaking, because then I was my own North Star. You know, I wasn't necessarily following somebody else's rule book for how I should live my life and what success looks like. I started defining that for myself. And that was a huge game changer.
Yeah. Wow. 100%. And I wonder how much you said people, were basically on repeat, right?
Yeah.
And so I wonder how much, after COVID, so many people were like, I'm quitting my job, I'm doing, right? And everybody was like, they're losing their mind. And I'm like, no, I think they found it. Like, I think because you're on repeat, you never get to sit in, what do I want to do? Who am I becoming? Where do I want to go? You're not able to be curious because you're always in the rat race. And so COVID was this moment, and I want to acknowledge the loss that people experienced during COVID and speak to the idea that people were able to sit still long enough to realize that they were in someone else's game.
Yeah.
And so it's wild how when you really sit, it's like that's when people started to say, like, I need this relationship to be different. Like, this is not working for me, right? So you do a lot in the world. Like, you are my inspiration, or at least one of them, because you say, I'm going to do this. I'll get my hair done on the first of the month, y'all. And by the next month, whatever she said she was going to do, it's done. I'm like, man, like, I'm glad I'm not like one of those people who doesn't move, because I would look at my reflection and be like, man, what'd you do in a month? So how do you keep up the pace and keep up the balance?
Balance is such a huge word, right? I've never had a problem keeping the pace. And, I had to learn a lesson pretty early on in my entrepreneurial career. And that was, just because you can doesn't mean you should. I can do anything that I say I'm going to do. And I've seen that, right? But I've also done a lot of things that I shouldn't have done. And I've used those as lessons, because I've worn myself out. I've hit walls. I have crumbled. And those are great lessons to learn, but not over and over again.
Yeah.
And so now I'm really careful and selective about the things that get my time, the people that get my time, and what gets my effort, right? And I really do an analysis internally and I think, okay, is this something that feels aligned? How is that contributing to my purpose? Not that I necessarily always know what my purpose is, but I intuitively can tell you if this feels good or if it feels right or if it doesn't, right? And I kind of just go down that line of questioning within myself to figure out, okay, is this something that I should be doing or not? Balance for me is like my lifeline, and so I try to really tap into the things that keeps me balanced and keeps me grounded. So I love hiking. If I'm feeling disconnected from myself, a good hike will fix that, right? But I also try to take a few minutes in the morning before I start my day and really just ground myself, whether it's 5 minutes doing a meditation or journaling a little bit or, anything, just something that I honor myself first and then I move forward.
Now, so given all the things you do, right? I've hear in the way that you've kind of told this story, you've evolved, right? Yeah. How do you continue to give yourself permission to kind of go with the flow, even though you don't know where the opening of the river is, right? You don't know where you're going, but you're brave enough to take that ride and trust in your skills to continue to go. Like, how did you get to the place where you were like able to move with ease and without all the confines of like where, what, how?
Therapy.
Shout out to the therapists in the world.
Listen, no, seriously though, because I think you get to a certain point where you can't operate on autopilot anymore. Yeah. It doesn't work, and so you really have to move with intention. And the things that you do have to make sense. And so I think just the intentionality, and also like I'm inherently type A. And so I have to remind myself that there's a time and place for that, right? And it's not how I navigate my everyday life. I want ease. I want flow. And so I have to remind myself of those things because they're not second nature for me, but they're becoming easier, right? But I think I move with ease now because I seek it out and it's a priority.
I love that. It's so funny because a lot of people see what we do and they think that everything you do is fully funded and you just have this supply of money that shows up. And so one of the things that I think could be helpful for people is for people to understand that the biggest part of the journey is to say yes, even when you don't have all of the details, right? And then sometimes I think about, well, I don't have the details. I don't even have the money for this new thing, but I know I'm being called to do it.
Yes.
How have you learned to listen to the call, to sit in the anointing, to understand that our ancestors have asked us to show up and show out on their behalf and shine light in the ways that we're asked to?
That's been a lesson that I've had to learn incrementally over the last, I want to say maybe 6 years. And it really started with me not operating from a place of lack. Because how that manifests itself in your life is lack, right? And so when I worked in corporate healthcare, I made probably about 4 times what I started out making when I decided to just do the salon and nothing else, right? So I lost quite a bit of income. And it was a struggle initially, because mindset is everything. Yeah. It really has nothing to do with the amount of money that you have in your bank account or how much money you're making. Like that gives you a false sense of security, right? But if you're on the right path and you know that you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're tapping into really what's divinely yours, then you'll be given the resources in order to make that happen. But trust is a huge part of that, And I've had to come to the point where I just say, okay, yes, I'm doing this. Even with the Avie business, prime example, I started working with my business mentor. Shout out to Concierge Care RX, the RN CEO, Melinda Williams. Amazing. But, Melinda held my hand and she really gave me the blueprint for this business because she's done it for a number of years, right? And when I tell you guys, I met with her monthly and I was scared. Every single month, I'm like, oh my God, this is happening. That means I'm going to have to like keep doing this. That means I'm going to have to open the doors, right? And I was so afraid. And up until like maybe 2 or 3 days ago, I was still scared because I'm like, this is happening. And I didn't have the resources, not the resources that were documented on paper. Oh, you need this amount to do this. You need that amount to do that, right? I'm looking at those numbers in the beginning. I was like, I don't know where none of this is coming from, but I feel like I'm supposed to do this, so let's do it. So to your point, I said yes. And today, Wellness RN is open. And no, I can't tell you how it happened, but it did. It did. And that really has been a theme, right? Because even like moving from my home-based studio with the Lock Artistry to a commercial space, oh my gosh, that was scary. It was such a huge leap, right? But I bet on myself because I know that I'm placed here for something greater than what I could ever imagine. And so why not tap into that? And why not take that leap? What's going to happen? I'll fall on my face. I'll go back and work as a nurse for somebody. I'll pick myself up and I'll figure it out, right?
Touche.
Yeah.
Yo, I hope you're listening to the masterclass, right? You got to start with a yes. And then you have to believe that you've been called to do this thing. And then you do the thing. And then you have to believe that the money's going to come, the gigs are going to come, the clients will come. If you build it, they will come. Right. But it requires you to bet on yourself. And as well, because you saying that makes me think about how many times we bet on other people.
100.
Right? Like people will call and will interact with people all the time saying, oh, can you support this or can you support that? And we're writing checks and we're, DM or sending Venmos or whatever. We're supporting businesses and other folks' projects. And then when you want to do it for you, you're like, oh, wait, too much, right? So I want to encourage someone out there who wants to do the thing. And if you want some ideas, I'll give a free coaching session for anyone out there who wants to iterate around doing the new thing. So if you're interested in that, DM me. So another question that came up for me, Amoy, as you were saying that is, are you proud of yourself?
Ooh, it's hard for me to say I'm proud of myself. You know why? Because I expect myself to do all the things I'm doing. But we have to show ourselves grace and we have to honor ourselves, much in the same way that we do for other people. So yes, I'm proud of myself.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
On that note, my question that when I sat down here, I don't do pre-written questions. I was like, man, what do you want your legacy to be?
I want to have people remember that I'm just an ordinary woman. Who really decided to step out of the matrix, if you will, right? And just do something that feels right without having a plan. We're placed here as human beings to just live our lives. And why live your life according to somebody else's plan? That kind of defeats the purpose, I think, So, I want my legacy to be one of bravery, one of vulnerability, one of integrity, and one of truth.
I love that because when you ask that question, sometimes people have like this litany of things, like I want to do this and I want to own that and I want to have this. And you led with characteristics. Like I want to inspire folks. I want to right. So I think for y'all, the reason I'm saying that is because that is the essence of who you are. Like you are so much more connected to the impact and the people and how we collectively get better than the accolades and the title and the wealth of it all. And I think ultimately when you live the way you live, in the ways that you lift up those things, that's where the titles and the money come on the back end of being real, all the things. So I have like a few more questions till we wrap up. But what leads you when you walk in the room?
What leads me when I walk in the room?
Like when I interact with people, there are certain things that I just think I lead with, right? People say like, you're a bright light or I could tell that I can communicate. So what are the values? Let's put it that way. that leads you when you walk in the room?
I feel like I have a consistent openness to see what I'm supposed to be discovering or tapping into. I see opportunity in everything, not opportunity as in opportunist or transactional, but, we can all learn from each other. We can all gain something from each other. And I feel like every interaction that I have does do that in some way, And so, I just come in with an openness to see what is here for me. Or how am I going to be there for someone else, perhaps?
I love that. So we have 2 questions. We ask everybody. I know, and I asked them before. If you guys haven't checked out the interview for Sankofa Wellness Community, check it out. It's earlier in the season, or a couple seasons ago. So what does it mean to be a kind soul?
First, to be kind to yourself.
That part.
Yeah, because I think if you're not kind to yourself, then a lot of times you really are practicing kindness that really isn't hitting, and it's not coming from within, And so, I think that that's authenticity there, right? When you can show yourself grace, you can practice kindness with yourself, your true humanity comes out. And that ends up taking shape in the ways that it needs to when you're being kind to other people, when you're leading with integrity, when you're doing the right things, not because somebody is watching or somebody tells you that this is what you have to do. It's not written in a book. We're given these things as humans. It's inherent, it's inside. It's innate, really, to all of us. And so I think just tapping into our humanity and just, being good humans.
Yeah. And, what I'm thinking about is it's really easy concept. I don't know why we're failing.
I use so many words for that. Just so many words.
I love this. Listen, you know why? Because it's so basic. Yes. And there's so many people failing. Like, y'all, man, get it together, society, please.
But don't we overcomplicate things just to come up with a stupid solution to fix it? It's so ridiculous. I can't.
Oh man, that was really funny.
Yes.
All right. So the last question is: there is somebody out here who is struggling. I mean, there's a lot of people. Some of those people watch our podcast. So there's your camera. Can you give someone some advice to help them, encourage them to keep walking forward?
It's a lot of pressure. I would just say we all have everything we need to survive this. First of all, you have it in yourself, right? But we also have community, and we have to tap back into that, because especially within the BIPOC community, we in the past have always existed in solidarity, and we've gone away from that, So recreating these safe spaces, recreating community where we can lean on each other. But also understanding your own strength, I think, is super important. So I would say just recognize that you have everything you need to be able to make it through whatever it is that you're going through.
I appreciate that. Amoy Virgo, y'all, I'm so grateful that you joined me today to have this conversation. So I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so proud of all the work that you're doing. And, Eb and I go way back. Oh my goodness. And so I'm just so proud of the growth here, and that this is having such a huge impact. And I can't wait to see everything that comes out of this.
Me either.
Absolutely dope.
Man. All right, y'all. So we're going to get out of here. I will say people ask, how can they support the podcast? And you can buy me a cup of coffee. So there's a link in my bio. There's a link under this video. And you could give anything from $1 to infinity, 10 million, whatever.
So it could be a deli cup or a Starbucks cup.
Indeed. Because we know they are not the same cost. But either way, I appreciate y'all who are showing up, watching these videos. If you can share these videos with people, that would be really grateful. I will be really grateful. And so until we see you, don't let anyone take the joy out your joy. And most importantly, continue to raise the vibration of kindness on a global scale. Take care, y'all.
Thank you.